Tuesday, not a Monday with its fresh start energy, not a Friday with its relief, not a Sunday with its quiet dread. Tuesday, the most anonymous day of the week, the day nobody celebrates, the day that doesn't even get a good nickname. What do you do on a Tuesday? Not your best Tuesday, not a Tuesday with a birthday or a holiday or something worth photographing. A plain, ordinary, unremarkable Tuesday. Because I've come to believe that the answer to that question, what you do on a Tuesday, tells you almost everything about whether or not you have found your purpose. Stay with me. Welcome to the Better Life Project, conversations for growth, purpose, and everyday life. I'm glad you're here. In this podcast, we'll explore meaningful ideas, honest conversations, and practical ways to grow into a better version of ourselves. Let's begin. Welcome back. 8 episodes, 8 weeks. And I want to say something before we begin today. Something I should have said earlier in this series, but kept holding back because it felt too personal. I didn't always know why I was doing any of this. The work, the showing up, the trying to say something useful in a world that is absolutely drowning in content and noise, and people with microphones telling other people how to live. I went through a stretch, a long one, where I was doing everything right on the outside and feeling nothing on the inside. Productive, organized, busy in a way that looked purposeful from a distance. But there was a thing that I kept noticing on ordinary days, Tuesdays. Specifically, I'd get to the end of the day and ask myself, not dramatically, just quietly, what was that for? Not in a nihilistic way, in a genuinely confused way, like I'd been doing a job but had forgotten what the job was actually in service of. That question, what is this for, turned out to be the most important one I've ever asked myself. Today, I want to ask it with you. Not the big version, not your life's mission or your cosmic reason for existing. I'm not qualified to give you that, and honestly, I don't think anyone is. The small version, the specific, livable Tuesday version, because that's where purpose actually lives. Not on the mountain, in the valley, in the middle of the week. I want to do something different in this section today. Instead of telling you where to find purpose, I want to show you where it already is, in the life you are already living. The one that might feel on certain Tuesdays like it's not quite enough. It is enough. You've just stopped seeing it. Let's go first with parenting. I want to reintroduce you to something you already do. You are shaping a human being, not metaphorically, not abstractly, literally, neurologically, spiritually, shaping a human being who will go out into the world and shape other human beings who will shape still others for generations after you are gone. The way you speak to your child when you are tired is shaping the voice they will use in their own head for the rest of their life. The way you handle disappointment in front of them is teaching them how to lose with grace or without it. The way you love your partner, or navigate being alone, or rebuild after something breaks, your child is watching all of it, taking notes in a part of their brain they don't even know they're using. I know parenting doesn't always feel purposeful. Some days it feels like a logistics operation with no end date, a series of meals and permission slips and arguments about screen time that could very easily consume your entire life without a single transcendent moment. But here is what I want you to hold, especially on the hard Tuesdays. Nobody has ever changed the world, did it without a person somewhere in their childhood who made them feel like they mattered. The person might have been a parent, a teacher, a grandparent, someone who spent 20 minutes once listening to a child as though what they were saying was the most important thing in the world. 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes, you have tonight, you have Tuesday. And the child sitting across from you at dinner is someone who will one day change something in a classroom, in a hospital, in a community, in a single conversation with a single person at exactly the right moment. You are the beginning of that chain. Do not underestimate what it means to be the beginning. Second, let's talk about work. I want to talk about work in a way that has nothing to do with hustle culture, passion, or finding your calling. Because most of us don't have a calling. We have a job. We have something we do from a certain hour to a certain hour that pays for the life we are building. And we've absorbed the cultural message that unless that thing sets our soul on fire, we are somehow missing the point of being alive. That message is exhausting, and I think it's wrong. Yale researcher Amy Wisniewski spent years studying hospital janitors, not the most glamorous sample group, looking at how they related to their work. She expected to find people doing a job. What she found instead divided into three distinct groups. The first group saw it as a job: clock in, clock out, collect the pay, nothing more. The second group saw it as a career, a step on a path to something else. But the third group, and this is the one that stopped Resniewski cold, saw it as a calling. They were janitors in a hospital, and they described their work as essential to healing. They rerouted their schedules to spend more time with patients who seemed lonely. They learned the names of the nurses. They noticed which rooms needed extra time and attention. Same job title, same hourly rate, completely different relationship to meaning. Rasmussen called what they were doing job crafting, the practice of reframing and reshaping the way you relate to your work, regardless of what the job description says. Purpose at work is not about what you do, it is about why you do it and who it touches when you do. The teacher who sees not 30 students but 30 futures. The accountant who sees not numbers but the family holiday those numbers will fund. The customer service rep who decides that every call is a chance to be the kindest voice someone hears all day. Your work is already full of meaning. You may just need to tilt the angle slightly to see it. Third, relationships. Here is something I want to sit with for a moment. You are someone's reason. Maybe you know who that person is. Maybe you've never thought about it before. But somewhere in the orbit of your life, closer than you might realize, there is someone for whom your presence is not incidental. It is load bearing. The friend who told me once, quietly, almost embarrassed by it, that on the day she was ready to give up, she thought of a specific coffee we had the previous Thursday. Nothing remarkable about it. We talk about nothing important, but she said, I remembered laughing. And I thought, I want another one of those. She is alive because of a Thursday coffee she almost didn't come to. You do not know the weight you carry in other people's lives. You cannot know. The conversations that seem small to you, the texts you almost didn't send, the time you showed up when you were tired and didn't feel like it and did it anyway. These are not footnotes. For someone, somewhere, they are the whole story. Purpose in relationships is not about being someone's savior. It's about being someone's constant, the person they know will pick up, the person who remembers, the person who makes them feel without a single dramatic gesture that they are not alone in this. You are probably already that person for someone. The question is whether you know it, whether you let yourself feel the weight and the privilege of it. Because a life where you are the person for even one human being, really, truly, reliably, that person is a life with purpose woven into every ordinary day. Fourth, let's talk about legacy. I want to end this section with the biggest thought of the whole episode, and I'm going to ask you not to flinch from it. You are going to die. Not a scare tactic, not a philosophical exercise, as the single most useful piece of information available to a person who wants to live with purpose. Ronnie Ware was an Australian palliative care nurse who spent years sitting with people in the final weeks of their lives. She asked them gently what they regretted. Nobody said they wished they'd worked more. Nobody said they wished they'd been busier, accumulated more, answered more emails, or spent more time worrying about what other people thought of them. They said things like, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I'd let myself be happier. And you know, the one that broke my heart the first time I read it and breaks it still? I wish I'd had the courage to express what I really felt. The courage, not the opportunity. The courage. These are people who had the opportunity every Tuesday of their lives. They had the opportunity. They just kept waiting for a better one, a less complicated moment, a version of their life where expressing themselves felt safer, easier, more permitted. That moment never came. Legacy is not what you leave behind in the formal sense. Not a will, not a building with your name on it, not even a memory that people toast at a dinner years from now. Legacy is what you pour into the people around you on an ordinary Tuesday when nobody is keeping score. The parent who was present, the friend who picked up, the colleague who made it safe to try, the stranger who was kind for no reason at all. These things ripple, quietly, invisibly, permanently. They ripple through people who ripple through other people who ripple through still others long after the original moment is forgotten by everyone, except the person who needed it. That is the Tuesday legacy. That is purpose in its purest, most available form. Your challenge this week is the simplest one I've given you in 8 episodes, and the hardest. On Tuesday, this specific coming Tuesday, I want you to ask yourself the question at the end of the day. Not, was I productive? Not, did I get it all done? What I want to ask yourself is, what was today for? And then, this is the important part. I want you to answer it honestly, not with what it should have been for, with what it actually was for. Maybe the answer is, I made my kid laugh at breakfast. That's enough. Maybe the answer is, I had a conversation at work that might have mattered to someone. That's enough. Maybe the answer is, I got through it. I was kind to one person. I kept going. That is enough. And maybe on some Tuesdays, the honest answer is, I don't know. I can't find it today. The answer is also valid. That answer is also honest. And a person who can sit with that question without flinching from it, who can say, I don't know yet and keep asking anyway, is someone who is already living more purposefully than most. Because purpose is not a destination you arrive at and unpack your bags. It is a direction you keep pointing yourself toward every week, every Tuesday, every ordinary, unremarkable, absolutely irreplaceable day. The nuns who live into their 90s with their minds intact, they didn't have a mission statement. They had a Tuesday, and then another one, and another. That is what a purposeful life is made of. Not the extraordinary moments, the ordinary ones met with intention. You have Tuesday. Use it. That's episode 8. 8 weeks, 8 conversations, and I want to tell you something true. Every single one of those episodes has come from a question I have asked myself. Something I've wrestled with. Something I've gotten wrong before I started getting it right. This show exists because of Ordinary Tuesdays. Because I kept asking what this was for. And because the answer, slowly, imperfectly, one episode at a time, started to become clear. It's for you. That's what it's for. If today's episode found you somewhere important, if the Tuesday question is already sitting somewhere in your chest that you'll carry into the week, please share this. Not because I need the numbers, because purpose is contagious, and the world desperately needs that particular infection right now. Next week, we're going to talk about fear, not how to eliminate it. That's not possible, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. But how to stop letting it make your decisions for you. How to feel it fully and move anyway. How to be, in the truest sense of the word, brave. It's going to be a good one. Come ready. Until next Tuesday and every Tuesday after that. Take care of yourselves. You are someone's reason. Don't forget it. Thank you for being here with me on the Better Life Project. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and stay tuned for more conversations that inspire growth, purpose, and a better everyday life. Until next time, take care and keep moving forward.